Kiora, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching me or listening to me from. Welcome to Tuhono Health, where we connect people, policy, purpose in pursuit of better health and health outcomes, research, and all of life's worries and life's questions. I am your host, Rhoda Winners. Today's episode is a little bit different from the whole culture and health research thing I've been talking about. And we are diving into a conversation that has sparked debate online. It has sparked a lot of heat and, of course, heart. Earlier this month, or just recently, a few days ago, remember the UK cabinet, the UK cabinet minister, Kemi Badenoch. Of course, Nigerians would know her. She made headlines again, and this time is for suggesting that disability support should be reserved for people with serious disabilities, not just mild disabilities like anxiety or depression, like mild mental issues, but then serious disabilities. And not, in her words, not for people with ADHD or mild depression. Now, her comments have been called harmful. Her comments have been called stigmatizing and out of touch with reality. What do you think? Anyways, these comments have struck like a lot of chord. It has struck a chord, and with some, like, her statements have struck a chord with some, and some people believe that our systems need reform. Like, people, like, if you're into research, you believe that, okay, maybe this lady is actually making sense, with some of these things that she has said. Again, like I said before, there have been many backlash, many insults, many degrading things being said about her because of her statement. So today we are going to explore both sides. So we'll look at the public perceptions, the public views about her statements, and then we'll also ask, what if there's something to learn from all these moments? What if there's something to learn from this thing that she has said? Right? What if encouraging self-reliance, redefining eligibility, like is what should be considered disability enough for public funding, for support, right? And promoting personal responsibility. What if these things are not just political talking points, right? But a bigger part of conversation about dignity, about equity and um, reliance, and not reliance, resilience. Yes, that's a better word. So let's unpack. Let's begin with the reaction. Those social media it can be funny these days. If you want to protect your mental health, sometimes just leave the social media space. But then again, if you want to have some fun and you just want to laugh, go into social media, especially Twitter. Those guys are crazy out there. So mental health organizations like in the UK, those ones were quick to respond. Remember, this week is Mental Health Awareness Week, right? The Mental Health Foundation called Badenoch's view as outdated. Like, this thing you've said is outdated. You're not supposed to say it right here, right now in 2025. The National Autistic Society said her comments showed a fundamental lack of understanding, meaning she doesn't understand what autism or ADHD means and why this is a serious, or this might be a serious disability. And NHS leaders have described them as disgraceful. And for many people living with invincible disabilities like anxiety, ADHD, and autism, these comments were felt like a slap on the face. So a denial, it was like a denial of their struggles, daily living, right? It was like a threat to the support that they rely on. You know, most of these people are on government benefits, some form of support from the government and other non-governmental organizations. So here is the thing now. Public policy isn't just about empathy. Of course, it was never, I don't think it was ever about pity, but then it's not about empathy. It's also about um, sustainability. It's about fairness. It's about long-term outcomes. These benefits, are they sustainable long-term? These benefits, what are the long-term outcomes? Or what has the long-term outcomes been? What has it led to? Now, that's where the conversation gets more complex a little bit. Now, let's talk about encouraging self-reliance. Now, don't get me wrong. This is my personal opinion. I'm not saying whatever Kemi said in the UK a few days ago was right or wrong. I'm just saying, let's look at the other side of the conversation and look at self-reliance, especially for mild mental health challenges, challenges like mild depressions, challenges like insomnia. Yeah, mild insomnia, challenges like anxiety, right? Let's look at how we can actually stand up for ourselves and not belittle ourselves or victimize ourselves because we have been diagnosed. Some people actually self-diagnose themselves, right? Because we have been diagnosed, and many of these diagnoses are stereotypical. Okay, yeah, I have anxiety. And so I'm not going to work. I'm not going to support myself. I'm going to live and depend on the government. I have anxiety. So I can't keep friends. I can't stay with people. I can't only what I think, only my own words should be heard. I can't listen to people. I can't perform beyond what I feel I should, because I have, those kind of statements, those kind of beliefs limit your capabilities. Anyways, let me not digress too much. So let's talk about self-reliance. In the Maori language, there is a context that speaks to autonomy. It speaks to independence. It speaks to self-determination. It's about standing on your own strength. And even when the odds are stacked against you, you stand for yourself. You show up for yourself. You show up in that career for yourself. You show up in that relationship for yourself. You show up being that human, being that person, being that being for yourself. You wake up in the morning with a purpose for yourself, right? Some argue that welfare systems, generally globally, while well intentioned, can sometimes undermine showing up for yourself, right? For instance, it's even a different scope, when you live in low income countries versus high income countries, first world versus third world, totally, totally stark difference. Do you understand me? So where there are welfare systems, like in first world countries where there are welfare systems, you can depend on government for some kind of support. That we see a lot of these things. Then you can say, okay, fine, I won't show up for myself. I don't have to get a career. I don't have to go to school. I don't have to start a business. I don't have to be something for myself because the government will take care of me. But then if you are in a third world country, you do not really have that option. You do not really have that confidence to say, okay, you won't stand up for yourself because some government will support you. No, in a country like Nigeria, you will just die. You will not just exist because no government will support you. And I know of many other African countries too. So now, By labeling people as permanently unwell, right, or unfit for work, we risk trapping them in cycles of dependency. And not just about labeling people, even labeling yourself. I'm talking about self-reliance here. You know, when we label ourselves with these mental health disorders like autism, like ADHD, and now I'm not saying these disabilities are not serious. There are some serious spectrums where these people cannot, be anywhere near people. There are some, for instance, I know of people that cannot have real social anxiety. And for such people, they cannot sit in classrooms. They cannot sit in meeting rooms with maybe more than two or even five people. I understand that, but then we're looking at the milder ones, the milder conditions. And I tell you, out of 10 people that you meet on a daily basis, 9 have some form of mental health conditions, hidden disabilities, hidden, I don't like to call it disabilities, I like to call it issues, right? Hidden issues that everyone is dealing with. Could be social anxiety, it could be that it could be speech issues. I'll give you an example of myself. Growing up, I didn't used to talk much, right? I didn't used to talk much. Whether talking was beaten out of me because uh, from my kind of background was not a background where a child was allowed to talk much. So while you're coming with, your small baby gist and from school or from outside or from wherever you're coming from, you want to come and talk to the adults you're growing up with about what had happened to you. You were shut down, you were beaten down. Those things you had in mind were forced to get stuck in your brain. So you are not able to verbalize um, your words. You're not able to verbalize whatever you had in mind to discuss, right? So whether my speech disability was ingrained while growing up or I was born with it, I don't know. But I knew that I didn't talk much as a child. I didn't talk much even while in secondary school. I went to a boarding house, but then still, because of the training I got growing up, I didn't still talk much. So I had a lot of people talking over me. I had a lot of people, yeah, saying, even bullying me. Right to university and in my adult age, and even when I graduated and I got married, I wasn't talking much. In fact, some people called me a snob because while people are seated, talking, having normal conversations about life issues and everything, Rhoda is quiet. But not everyone understood that it could be a hidden disability. People just saw it like as someone that is a snob. Maybe she doesn't just want to be part of the conversation. I had the words in my head, but to get them out were very difficult. I started learning how to talk when my kids started growing up. As a mom, you talk. You had to talk. So I stutter. I still stutter till now, especially when I'm anxious. I forget my words. Yeah, I have all these ideas. Say we're in a conversation and there are topics, there are things to be said. I have all these ideas in my head, but then at times they are difficult to talk. They are difficult to say them. So if the person or the persons I'm in that room with do not understand that I have a hidden disability or I have some form of limiting mental issues, they will think it's another thing, right? But then I have not allowed this disability to limit me. And I'm not talking down on anyone who has found it difficult to work on their hidden disabilities. I'm not talking down. I'm just saying it's possible to work on these things. It's possible to actually get up and say, look, I'm going to show up for myself. I am a researcher. In fact, before going into research, if you watch my first video before going to research, after graduation, I'd worked in the hospital, I'd worked in community pharmacies, I've worked in the industry, in industry roles where I didn't have to talk much, I wrote a lot. Then in industry roles where talking and showing up were part of the job. Now imagine if I had gathered my senses and I'm like, okay, no, I have this disability, speech disorder, and I'm not going to show up for myself. I wonder where I would have been today. Probably some government would have been supporting me, but definitely not government of third world countries. So this is the area I'm coming from. This is the aspect of the Kemi Badenoch discussion that I want us to understand today. So when we label many of these mental health issues as disabilities, we trap people into dependency. People also trap themselves into limitations, career-wise, relationship-wise, financial-wise. Oh, I'm like this. Oh, I don't talk much, so I'm not going for that conference. Oh, I don't talk much, so I'm not going for that presentation. Oh, I don't talk much, so I'm not going to sit in that board meeting. You'll be left behind. The world will leave you behind. The world has moved on from that space a long time ago. Yes, there's a tech boost, there's an AI boost, and AI is doing almost everything for everybody. But a time will come, a time is coming where everyday conversations, human connections, human conversations will become a skill that companies, big multinationals would seek. And if you don't have that because you have some form of speech difficulty, like me, then you wouldn't be the person that they'll go for. You wouldn't be the person that they'll call for. Even if you have the idea, even if they know that you have the idea. I mean, AI can do in by 2027. I mean, the growth of AI would be unbelievable. So you can't just say, okay, yeah, I can write. AI will write. I can think. AI can think. I have my ideas up there. AI also have. So what do you have? Can you talk? Can you converse? Can you maintain human relationships, especially professional ones? Can you cut toxic relationships and not feel bad about them? Can you intentionally create friendships, meaningful friendships, right? That will add to you, that will impact you positively and impact others positively. What can you do for yourself? Instead of claiming disability and hustling for disability benefits. I mean, if if you can work on it, do it. So let's take this example. A young man with a mild anxiety. This one was diagnosed mild anxiety, had some form of issues from school. So he was placed on long-term welfare. I won't mention the country. And this person was told that they are unfit for employment. So they said he was unfit for employment when before they placed him on the long term welfare. But the right support, right? With the right support, with family and a flexible employer, this person could have thrived, right? That this person would have done well. Like I said, mild anxiety, there are medications, pharmacological and non-pharmacological treatment of anxiety. Do you understand? There are things to be done. Even people who have serious anxiety, right, that have gone to jail because of their anxiety, because of something they did as a result of them being anxious, they have learned to um replace that feeling with something positive. I know many people out of jail said, I did this because I was scared, right? I did this to him or her because I was anxious or afraid that they were going to do this to me or they were going to find out something about something else. They changed. You too can. You too can take those anti-anxiety medications and still be a better version of yourself. Now, people like that could contribute meaningfully to the society and build confidence and reclaim their lives, reclaim their way of doing things, reclaim the meanings that they give to life. Even research backs this up. When employment is done right, it can improve mental health. It will offer structure. It will offer connection, right? It will offer purpose. So the question is now, are we helping people by keeping them on benefits? Are we really helping people by keeping them on benefits? If the person is not really disabled enough to say, okay, he cannot use hands or legs or eyes or ears or mouth or um or even mental health challenges, serious ones, to work. Are we not holding them back by saying, okay, somebody with mild depression or mild anxiety shouldn't work, should stay on benefits? Are we not holding them back? Right? Now, let's talk about eligibility. Now, eligibility in this sense is um, defining or categorizing mental health as mild and as serious or very serious, however it is categorized. Now, when you are not eligible enough, right, to be receiving care, to be receiving this long-term support from the government, you block the people that really need it. Yes, you limit access, right, for the people that actually need that support. As a human being, do you think it's a good thing? Do I know Kemi Badenoch? No. But let's tell ourselves the truth sometimes. Let's discuss these things sometimes. In the UK, right now, the number of people claiming disability benefits for mental health conditions has risen sharply. Now we understand that mental health conditions have also risen sharply in the last 5 years. Others argue that now some say it reflects better awareness. People are getting to know about mental conditions. Others also reflect that it reflects a system that is too broad, right? One that risks being overwhelmed, right? Now everybody's understanding it, but then the system is getting overwhelmed. It's not just risk. It's already getting overwhelmed because everybody's claiming some form of disability right now. Kemi's critics say that she's drawing arbitrary lines, but some of her supporters, which I agree with, argue that without clear criteria, the system might become unsustainable because the money might finish. The money might finish. The support might just end. It might just stop without warning. And when it stops, for people with mild disabilities, what will you do? And you would have blocked the system or access for the people that really need it. Now, let's bring it home. Let's bring it to whatever country you reside in, or whatever country you're listening to me from. I am bringing it to New Zealand. We see similar tensions around the healthcare system, the Health and Disability Ministry here. The Ministry of Social Development and the ACC have different thresholds for support. Navigating these systems can be confusing in New Zealand. I've seen it happen, especially for indigenous people, right? Indigenous family, the Maori, the Pacifica peoples who already face systemic barriers, who already face racism, and other, bias and other barriers to health care. So maybe the real question is, how do we define, right? How do we define need? the need for welfare, the need to claim benefits in a way that's fair, right? In a way that is culturally responsive and in a way that is sustainable. Now let's look at cultural shifts towards being responsible, like personal responsibility for yourself, being responsible for yourself. We are living in a time where diagnosis is everywhere. ADHD, autism, anxiety, depression, name them. They are now a part of everyday language, and that's not a bad thing, right? Awareness is powerful. Social media, Google, in the internet is powerful. People are becoming self-aware. People are becoming aware of conditions or situations that our parents or ancestors never even thought of. But some argue that we've swung too far. We're, thinking about these things too far. We're imagining, some even say we're imagining things, right, in research and health outcomes. Some say we've created a culture where every challenge is medicalized, every problem is pathologized, everything is a problem, everything is a disease, right? Whether that's true or not is left for researchers like you and I to find out. But Kemi Badenoch's comments, while they are blunt, being Nigerian, Nigerians can be blunt, these comments tap into a deeper concern. Are we losing the resilience? The grit? Are we losing sight of the grit and resilience of living life? Or are we of the idea that life is hard sometimes and that's okay? Right? Let me be clear. It's not about blaming people for their emotions or their conditions or illnesses. It's about asking, how do we support these people without disempowering them? How do we support these people without making them dependent, right, on systems, dependent on families who may not have time to take care of them the way that is supposed to be? How do we build a society that says, yes, we see your struggle, right? And we believe in your strength. How do we do that? It's not about blame shifting and cursing the woman or saying that the Tory government, Tory system has a problem or complaining about the government 247. The thing is, as a people, how do we behave or how do we begin to support ourselves as individuals? How do we begin to show up for ourselves and, decrease this attitude of victimizing, self-victimization? Self-victimization is very serious. Sometimes you just have to come out of it. Sometimes you just have to just go for it and see what life gives you. So, in closing, where does that leave us? Badenoch's remarks have opened a Pandora's box. They hurt some, like her comments. Her comments always hurt a lot of people. But then they've resonated with others, right? And have forced all of us to confront uncomfortable questions like we have in this session today. As someone working in health and in research, I believe that we need both compassion, we need clarity, right? We need both compassion and clarity if we have to answer these questions and if we have to make these discussions work. We need systems that support those in need, right? But also encourage growth, independence, and dignity. While we are supporting the people that really need the welfare system, the people that really need benefits and other form of support, we should also encourage growth for many people. We should encourage independence and dignity. Independence is something that I even see privately owned aged care facility encourage older adults living there, their older adult residents to do. You hear something like, no, we want her to still be independent at 96. No, we want her to still be independent at 80. Right? Why don't we bring this idea to younger people, to, people with mild situations, mild mental health problems, right? If you don't sleep well, have you tried exercising? Have you tried exercising on a daily basis? No matter how short, even if it's 15, 20 minutes a day, have you tried taking that walk? Have you tried taking that, running, you know, taking a walk for 30 minutes on a daily basis to change things for many of you? Some, some people will need medication. Some people will need other forms of therapy. Have you even tried going for therapy to talk to some people? Maybe, just maybe, this debate is an opportunity, right? It may be an opportunity for us to rethink how we define disability, how we deliver support, and how we empower people to live full, meaningful lives. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you agree with the idea of redefining eligibility? Which I do. I do. I agree with the idea of redefining eligibility for us to actually begin to call out what needs to be or what isn't happening and what needs to be. Or do you think it risks leaving people behind? Send us a message and leave your comments in the comment section. Please follow our YouTube page, Rhoda360, as you listen to us also on Spotify at Rhoda360. We may feature your response in future to Hono Health episodes. So until next time, please stay strong, stay brave, and stay connected. See ya.